to be a serious, practical joker, one who's worth his or her salt, you have to be prepared for the very real possibility that someone could die. And quite often, short of death, a good practical joke, I'm making air quotes around good, can go horribly awry.
Something went wrong in your past.
That's funny to you. I'm sitting in a stall. I fastened it shut. And some wiseacre flipped off the lights. I think, okay, that's great. Thank you very much. So I'm thinking, yes, maybe it was inadvertent. Okay, fine. But the next thing I know, I hear this sound of something scraping against the floor, like a cardboard or a box of some sort, being slid toward me. The sound was getting a little louder, and I thought, well, what the heck is that?
Well, you never know,
It was a box, because I could see under the door to the commode, the stall. It was a box, and I saw a hand with a Zippo lighter lighting what appeared to be a fuse. Box was loaded with M80s. A single M80 equals an eighth of a stick of dynamite.
They're very powerful.
Well, they're nothing to be monkeyed with. And I thought I'd emptied my bowels. Well, there was still plenty more to come, as it turned out, but involuntarily, they began going off. So I'm kicking at them as I'm sitting there.
Box got caught in probably your clothing.
My boxers. Someone knew what was going on.
It was no accident.
No, it wasn't.
This was on
I was
purpose.
targeted. They start exploding, and it is the deep resonance, but it's like a machine gun of it. Boom, 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 boom. Hallucinated that I was in the Argonne Forest.
In World War I.
In World War I. I jumped into the commode in a vain effort to put out the explosive devices, but it was no good, because then the commode, the commode exploded. I shot up. I just got out of there, got into my Porsche, and kept going.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, this is 30 years ago. You told a story about terrible. I mean, it was your Ted Kennedy moment. I mean, you had a terrible.
Well, you characterize it that way.
Well, it just sounded to me like the kind of a thing that, I mean, if it happened to me, it would haunt me to this day.
I was in a situation where do or die. Well, I did. I'm glad you brought it up, because I've done a little investigating since then. Turns out someone had jimmied my tires, and I felt them begin to wobble. And really, that was what caused the accident.
Well, that is major news, Dave. I didn't know that somebody played a really bad practical joke on you. And you shouldn't worry.
I'm not.
Let's go back to December 3rd, 1994. The Backyard BBQ Reflux.
And I was with a young lady, and we were going crossing a bridge in the northern Ohio area, mm-hmm. And it was over a creek in
Put-in Bay.
Yeah, near there, sure. And it was a slid off the bridge. I don't know what happened. I lost control.
Had you been imbibing that night?
Well, sure. Yeah, I did a few pitchers of martinis, and went off into the drink. It was like it was a Ted Kennedy kind of Chappaquiddick all over again.
You could relate with that.
Sure. We went right into it was wintertime, went right through the ice. I was able to extricate myself and swim to safety. And the poor young lady with me was they fish her out sometime later.
Probably was knocked out in the wreck.
So I figured, yeah, that's what I tell myself. I try to put a good, I look on the bright side. She probably was unconscious, so it was all right.
there any doubt that she was unconscious at the time?
Not in my mind. No.
What, was there an indication? Did they do an autopsy? I'm sure they did an autopsy.
Yeah, I never saw the results.
Did they question you at all during the?
Yeah, I told them she was unconscious, as far as I could tell.
They said there were marks on her neck. They weren't able. I mean, I was told about this, and I figured
the whole thing is it's just an unpleasant memory, and I'd like to let it just let it slide.
Well, there were marks on her neck, though. How do you explain that?
I don't know.
They weren't sure whether it was a hickey or whether it was from the force of
she
perhaps
she had a necklace of hickeys, and I'm not proud of that.
There was a sign of a struggle.
It was youthful exuberance, and I had to get past her to get through the window. My window, I couldn't get my door open. I had to get out through the passenger side. And
I know
I had to climb over her.
Is strong,
it's
but
incredible.
I'm just wondering whether, in the course of trying to get out of the car,
she might have been her unconscious body might have been. I might have put my knee in her chest, and I had to
as you were climbing over,
right through to get through her door, which I was able to open, and as I said, extricate myself and
but wasn't
swim
there
to
like
safety.
A pocket of air, maybe about
not after I opened the door,
a foot high?
Yeah, there was, but that filled immediately with that water was cold.
Sure, it was.
Sure.
And you were able to get out,
and so here I am today, and it all worked out for the best.